Hi everyone. So I'm going to walk you through the process of actually filling out one of these research cards. I've opened the blank one and you have to tell it to download, and then you'll see this yellow ribbon. You have to tell it that you want to enable editing. So then you should end up with a document that looks like this. Okay. Very rarely do people have issues downloading this. So if you do, you can let me know, but this is what it should look like. So I'm going to locate my source, and I will show it to you, and then I will explain to you how we start with the first step. As you've gathered from looking at some of the materials I have, the sample materials for the research paper, my sample research topic has to do with child sex trafficking rings in the United States. This is a sample topic I've used for many years. Material was really hard. Sources were very difficult for me to find early on, but as people have become more aware of this topic, more materials have started to surface. So this is a source I'm thinking about using in my paper. Again, it might not make it in there by the time I write my first or even second draft. But my goal is to gather as much useful information as I possibly can. So this looks to be, I would probably call it, it might be a pamphlet, or it's just some publication that was created by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's called Children Traumatized in Sex Rings. Notice it says here, in cooperation with School of Nursing, University of Pennsylvania. So lots of information that I will have to wade through here when I'm putting together my bibliographical entry. Notice that this was published in 1988, March of 1988. Because this is an old source, should I not use it? It really depends on the topic that you are examining. So I think for me this will serve my purposes, and you will see when I fill out the card how I plan to use this source. But anyway, I will pause for a moment, and I am going to find the piece of information that I want to use, and then we will pick up with the part in green. So I found a piece of information I think I want to pull from this and put in the part in green in my research card. And it's this first sentence of this paragraph here. So I'm going to pause for a minute and go ahead and put that in there. As you can see, I have copied and pasted that sentence into the part in green. I also want to indicate whether I mean for this to be, or if this is actually a quote, a summary, or a paraphrase, just so I can keep it straight when I start gathering all of these cards. It might become confusing, so I want to make sure I keep my information very clear. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that this is a quote. I'm going to highlight that, probably do that in yellow. That will be very easy to see. So the next piece of information I'm going to move on to is across the page, my thoughts about the information that I quoted. So now I've added my own thoughts about the part that I have in green. So I'm really focusing on the credentials of the author and the fact that information she conveys about like these advanced or more sophisticated sex rings seems to coincide with other sources that I've read. So this is what I state. The main author, Burgess, is a registered psychiatric nurse and a renowned researcher. Her assessment of how sex abuse rings operate seems trustworthy and seems to be supported by evidence of such rings in Europe and in the United States.